Is it possible for a person to have too many seeds? I think that the cold, hard answer to that question is yes. But I like to live in a more gentler, kind world where, I can have as many seeds as I want without feeling judged. And that is why I'm here to share with you today my seed haul for 2026. I have some really exciting new varieties. I have some restocks on things that I love to grow every year, and so I had to pick up more. And then I have a few brain melting impulse buys that I think I'm still excited about them, but I just don't know what exactly I was thinking, where I'm gonna put them, how they're gonna work in my garden. But I'm excited to share all of that with you. So first up, I have these marigold seeds, the strawberry blonde marigolds. This will be my third year growing these, and the color is just so good. I love a multi-tonal flower, and this looks exactly like a delicious lemonade with that strawberry puree just swirling about. It's beautiful, and it kind of makes me thirsty. I'm just kidding. This is a short variety, you guys. This is not a cut variety. I thought it was the first year that I planted them. They stay quite small, but they are beautiful for the borders of your garden, and they're really beautiful in like containers and things like that. So I highly do recommend these. I just think that the color is so pretty that yeah, you should check these out if you haven't. Sticking with those like multi-tonal flowers, I also bought more of the Queen Lime zinnias. I love zinnias. I just did a whole video about my favorite zinnia varieties, and surprise, surprise, this little baby is on my list. They're like multicolored, and so what happens is that throughout their bloom time, the color kind of shifts from like one color that they start out as, it kind of transforms to this other color towards the end of the flower's life, and it's so beautiful to see, and I just love it so much. They're definitely like way more trendy when it comes to colors. My favorite are the Queenie Lime Red and the Queenie Lime Blush. I think you cannot go wrong with either one of those. Some other zinnias that are in my favorites video that I also restocked on are the Zinnia Ballerina Mix and the Zinnia Agave. I talk about both of these in multiple videos because I started growing them for the first time last year, and they quickly became a favorite of mine, and I just want to keep it going. For cut flowers, I do find that the ballerina mix is a little bit more usable because it's kind of a mix of the cactus blooms and the like more dahlia, like double, like almost like a Baneri bloom. It's a mix of both of those, so I do find that they hold up a little bit better in a vase. The agave, these are fully cactus blooms, and I think that they're beautiful, and they have such a gorgeous texture, and I love them. I love the color. I am a bright color person. I get that a lot of people don't like all those bright colors in their arrangements that they make, and that's totally fair. These are very bright, and I find that the petals of the cactus zinnias don't always hold up as long as some of those dahlia blooms or the Baneri blooms. Just things to keep in mind. I love these in the garden. I do use them as cut flowers, but if you are trying these out for the first time and you're using them as a cut flower, just know that the cactus petals might not last as long as some of the other zinnia varieties. But both of these I highly recommend. I think they're gorgeous. And then I think the last restock that I have from Eden Brothers, this is the Black Eyed Susan Cherokee Sunset. I love this flower. Okay, she is one hot mama. This is like the epitome of summer in a flower. It's just like hot and sweaty, but like in a good way, not like in a gross way, but in that like sticky, sweet, I'm a slave for you, Britney kind of way. You know what I mean? No? No, you don't? Okay. Well, here's the thing about this flower. I'm not a sunflower person. You might be questioning that statement later on in this seed haul, but usually I am not a sunflower person, but I do think that Rudbeckia is like the perfect like miniature sunflower because they're just so workable and usable, where I find sunflowers to be like too overwhelming as a cut flower, and in my garden I like smaller flowers typically, so these are like perfect and everything that I want them to be. I grow these, and then I also grow the Sahara mix. Both of them are beautiful, both of them I recommend. Had to restock on these guys. I'm sorry about the Britney Spears reference. This is a banger song, you know? Okay. I also did a little restock of my Clarkia. I love Clarkia. It's a very underrated favorite. It's something that I love every year in my garden, but I don't talk about it as much as I think about it. So I did restock on my Clarkia. It is the Elegant Salmon. There's another variety that I grow a lot of, but I really like this one as well. So I went back and I rewatched my seed haul from last year just to kind of get an idea of how I formatted it and what was new to me last year, and if I had restocked on anything this year. And it's funny because when I wrote out kind of my notes for this video, I put this aster, the Souffle Pink Aster, as a new variety that I just bought this year, and I actually got this for the first time last year. But I didn't plant it last year. I don't know what happened. It must have just kind of gotten lost, which means I have a whole seed pack somewhere in my stash of this exact same flower that I didn't even try to plant last year. I mean, exciting because I have double the seeds, but embarrassing because I honestly, my notes for this flower are exactly what I said last year. What is happening in my brain? So let me show you my notes on this. It's so funny to me. Aster Souffle Light Pink, loving the cool toned pink. Usually grow warm peachy tones, so it'll be something new, beautiful to try. Should we jump in time back to my last seed haul and see what I said about this flower? I said about these light pink asters, and they always get me with the new variety thing because I'm like, oh, I haven't seen these before. I haven't grown these before. I must buy them. Must I? Probably not. The other asters I usually grow have kind of a peachy tone to them. I think that these are more of like a cool toned pink. So I think that'll be really pretty. So, same thoughts, same feelings. I'm excited still to try them. I don't know what happened last year, but we will be growing these this year, and I am very excited. I love asters, and I think that this is going to be a really pretty pink. So, very cool. Now we're going to kind of like bridge the restocks with the new varieties, because I bought 5 varieties of stock. Well, 2 varieties, 5 colors. Some of these are restock and some of these are new varieties to me. Now, if you remember my video that I posted not too long ago, I almost tried to tell you that I wasn't going to be growing stock. Boy, was she wrong, okay? Who even was that tried to tell you that? I didn't lie to you. Like, actively in that video, I took back all my words and decided that I was actually going to grow it because I love it. Now, my favorite variety of stock to grow is the iron variety, and that's just because I think that the stems are a little bit stronger than the cats. The cats grow a little bit taller than the iron varieties, but the stems are a little bit softer. They're a little bit thinner, but these are still beautiful. I mean, I bought 3 of them. So I bought the Stock Cats Yellow, the Stock Cats Apricot, and the Stock Cats Cherry Blossom, which this one is, this is a pretty one, okay? Now I also bought 2 varieties of the Stocks with an X. That's fun and new. I have never bought this variety before. I don't know if it's a brand new variety or if I've just never been inclined to pick it, but I think the colors really got me. I got the silver and the champagne, and holy mama, these are so pretty. I love stock, you guys. I can't believe that I almost tried to talk myself out of growing it because I think that the flowers are so pretty, and I won't get into them too much because I did just make a whole video that I'm going to post probably in the next couple of weeks about growing stock, and I kind of like drool all over how much I love them in that video. So we'll just say that the 5 varieties that I bought, there possibly will be more because I do succession plant these, and coincidentally, I didn't buy any of my favorites. So what was I thinking? Sometimes that happens. I get sucked into the seed buying and I forget what I'm doing. Anyways, this is how I get into trouble with seeds. I need to reel it in. So now we'll just kind of shimmy on into my new varieties that I'm very excited to try out this year. Some of them are just new colors, but I find that just as exciting as new varieties. So the first one is the Celosia Crystal Beauty. I love Celosia, especially these like crested varieties, because I think that they add just such a beautiful, interesting texture to your arrangements, to your garden. I love a textured flower. I literally say that all the time, and this is one of my favorites to add to my arrangements just because I get so many comments and compliments and questions about what it is, and I just think that it's so fun. So this one is really, really pretty, and it's described as like this sparkling peach to champagne color, and I'm really excited about that. And then from Eden Brothers, I also bought another kind of Celosia. It's called Act Pink. And this is giving like big brain vibes. It's very pinky and it's very brainy, and it is quite beautiful, if I do say so myself. So we have made it to the point in the seed haul where we come across our first brain meltdown purchase where it's not the flower, it's the what am I doing with this sensation that I'm feeling. And that is when it comes to the Eucalyptus terraticornis. Let's go with that. This might have been an impulse buy. It could have been a mistake. I mean, let's process these thoughts together, okay? First off, I have never really been into eucalyptus. I don't use it as greenery. I understand why so many people love it, and I get that I am in the minority by saying that it is not something that I am like wild about. But especially like the big like sand dollar, the silver dollar or sand dollar, the big circular leaves, I am not into those. That is not my thing. But I did buy a little flower arrangement from one of the coffee shops or the book stands in town, and they had this eucalyptus, this terraticornis, as the greenery, and I thought that it was so cool and so pretty. The leaves are like little cascading like arrowheads. Is that cool? I think that's cool. I think that's pretty. It's definitely a vibe. And so when I saw these seeds online, I immediately hit yes, I'm buying those. Because that's the button online that you hit, yes, I'm buying those. And I didn't really think twice about it. But now that I'm standing here and I'm holding these and I'm talking to you about it, I'm not necessarily regretting them, but I'm realizing that they're going to be taller than me, most likely. It says they're going to get to be 60 to 96 inches. Inches? They're going to get to be 60 to 96 inches tall, and it is a tender perennial, which means it will probably come back. I don't know where I'm going to plant these. It also says that they need high humidity to germinate. And if there's one thing I'm not always great at, it's providing special requirements for my seeds to germinate. I like an easy germinating seed, and this may not be the plant for me. I don't know. We're gonna try it out, see how it goes, and we'll see. So mixed feelings on this one. Where am I gonna plant them? Problem for another day. Next, I don't know that this was necessarily a like meltdown moment, or this was just like a nostalgic moment, but this is the Gomphrena, the QIS trademark pink. I don't really like these names, but this was definitely a nostalgic buy for me. I grew Gomphrena the first couple of years that I started my cut garden, and I just loved it so much. It's very usable in arrangements if you're growing cut flowers. It adds like this really cool little tuft of color. It's durable. It has a lot of foliage. It has a lot of like branches off of them. So I think it makes like kind of a nice filler, and I just think that it's so pretty. And the first few years that I grew it, I absolutely loved it. It dries really beautifully. But I think I stopped growing it because I wanted to try out some different varieties of celosia. And then I just started like trialing more flowers. So I never made space for it again in my garden. And I think that this is the year that I'm going to bring it back. I don't know if I'll grow like an entire section of it. It does kind of take over and get like very big and like almost bulbous in my bed. But you know, that means that there will be plenty to cut from and plenty to enjoy. And I think that it's just like a really, really beautiful, like pale pink. So I think I'm gonna really love it, and my like nostalgic heart is very excited for these ones. All right, and then I am also growing this Love in a Mist Mulberry Rose. This one's kind of funny to me also because in my video where I told you that I wasn't going to grow certain flowers for 2026, I did mention that I wasn't going to grow Love in a Mist. But I clarified in that video that I didn't want to grow it in like as big of an area as I normally do, and that I was really excited to try out a color. I usually grow a few different white varieties of this flower, and I was really excited to try this color. I think that this is a new color for this year. They always get me with the new colors. Like I mentioned it last year, I'm a sucker for a new color. Okay, it's a weakness inside me that they prey upon, and it works every time. So I will be trying these. I'm not going to plant, like I said, a whole bed of them, but I am going to kind of interplant them in different beds and just kind of see how I feel about them, if I like them, if I want to continue growing them. Who knows? But I am excited about these. I think the color is really, really pretty. Keeping with that pink theme, I guess pink was the color that I was drawn to, but this is the Blushing Bride Phlox. And I love phlox. My favorite variety of phlox is the creme brulee. That's my favorite color. It's really pretty. It's like a yellow with almost this like purple like veining that goes through it. It's always sold out. The last few years it's been impossible for me to get my hands on. But that's also kind of like my fault because I'm like a late seed buyer. If I was on top of things, I could probably find it a lot easier, but when am I on top of things? Pretty much never. So these ones are really pretty. They're like a mix of like white and pinks, and I think that that's going to be really nice. And like I said, I am going to film a part 2 to this video where it's like my wish list, everything that I would buy if money and space were not an option. But I think I'm going to let myself pick a couple of things from that wish list to buy, because there is a variety of phlox that I am like desperate to get my little hands on. Will I find it? I don't know, but stay tuned for that video. I think that'll be fun to just kind of, you know, we need to be responsible consumers, and it's okay to have wish lists, and it's okay to buy everything. If you want to buy everything, by all means, you do you. The world is very expensive right now. I cannot afford to buy everything, but there are a few things on my list that I still want to grab while I can. So stay tuned for that video. I think that'll be kind of a fun thing to do. And if you're still on the fence about different varieties, I will talk through all the varieties that like I would buy and the reasons why I would buy them. So it should be a little bit informative too. I always try to be somewhat informative for you guys. I know I'm rambling. Let's move on. So I have a few different colors and varieties of Snapdragons. I have 2 Madame Butterflies, the Cherry Bronze and the Rose. And these are really beautiful. The Madame Butterfly are my favorite Snapdragons to grow just because I love a roughly double bloom, and these are perfection. So both of these will be going in my garden. And then the Chantilly Purple. I don't grow a lot of purple flowers, but when I do, I tend to really love them. So I'm excited to kind of shake things up a little bit with some purple. And this is the Chantilly bloom, so it's not a double bloom, it's that single like really open. It's really beautiful. This is like my second favorite Snapdragon. I'm not as into that classic like Snapdragon shape where it looks like a dragon mouth, you know what I mean? You know what I mean. I don't need to go into that. Okay, so I know you guys have been waiting for the final brain melting moment where I impulse buyed, and this is a sunflower. Who am I? I know earlier I told you I'm not a sunflower person. I mean that. I'm not a sunflower person. But this is the hybrid single stem sunflower sunfill trademark purple F1. What a mouthful. Here's where this got me, okay? I'm a texture person. You know this about me. I never shut up about how much I love a textured flower. And this spoke to my texture loving soul. Okay, I think there's something about the color, the green and the purple and those like spiky angles for petals that I was like, this might be a fun greenery element to add to my arrangements. Why wouldn't I buy them? Probably because I don't like sunflowers, but I'm thinking that I'm really gonna like these. And I am excited to try them. It's gonna be something different. You know, I have a good feeling about them. We'll see once they start blooming how I actually feel about them, if I actually use them. But I am like very, very excited about these, I think. And now finally, we're wrapping this up. The last little purchase I got from my seed haul is another zinnia, okay? And it is the zinnia mazurkia. I don't know if I say that right every time I say it, but I bought these from Eden Brothers. They also have them on Botanical Interest. I know that for me, I can find Botanical Interest at like my local nurseries and flower shops. So if you don't want to order online, maybe you can find some of those in your little garden center. But these I'm like so excited for. And I talked about them briefly in my zinnia video, and somebody commented and said that I was gonna love them, that they were absolutely gonna be a new favorite. And so it makes me like even more excited to grow them and see them bloom. These are a semi-double to a double bloom, and it's like this really beautiful, I think I described it might say on here, but it's like a really deep like scarlet pink that like fades into like lighter pinks, and it's like this almost like this dip dyed like multi-tonal. It's so pretty, and I'm so excited. It looks very unique, and I just can't wait to see them. Spring and summer, they just feel too far away, but we will have to be patient. I will have to be patient. That's all that I have to share with you today. I'm really interested and excited to know what you're growing in your garden. Did you find any new seed varieties? Did you have moments of like impulse buys where now you're like, what the heck am I even gonna do with this flower? Please let me know. I love hearing about your gardens. I love hearing about new varieties. Let me know what some of your favorite varieties are, okay? Because I am doing my wish list, and I'm gonna give myself some leeway to pick a couple of things from that wish list. So let me know if there's anything that I should check out, that I should add to my list. And thank you so much for being here. I will see you guys in the next one.